I do two different courses in France. So one course, I take students from DePaul to Paris for a week to study luxury marketing. So we actually, before the trip, we'll talk about the tenets of luxury marketing, how it differs from traditional notions of marketing. And what's cool is we'll complement that classroom learning in Chicago with real-world visits to luxury companies in Paris. So what's fun for me is I get to take 20 students who have never been to France before, in many instances have never been abroad before, on their first experience abroad. And what's cool is it's actually super educational. It's not one of these stereotypical study abroad trips where the students are doing things they shouldn't probably be doing. My students go and they realize Paris is our classroom for a week, and we do amazing visits. We get to have fun too. We go to the museums, we get to eat all kinds of delicious French food, but it's super rewarding when the students are so engaged with the hosts of the different companies. And even though there's a bit of a language barrier sometimes, if the students don't speak French, they learn so much just from being able to interact with those folks in Paris. And it's sort of, for the people who have that negative stereotype of Paris and Parisians, I've never had that. I think if you speak the language, they're super generous to you. I think it's a nice experience for our students to have that opportunity in Paris. And also for France, I mean, the past several years, tourism had been on the decline after the terrorist attack. So I think it's important that we are taking students to Paris to show them how wonderful of a city it still is and will continue to be. So in addition to taking students from DePaul to Paris, I actually teach for a French university as well as a visiting professor. So a couple times a year I get to fly to France. It's a pretty nice life. And I teach in Paris for a week, and then I go north to Lille and I teach in Lille right on the Belgian border. Integrated marketing communications. And so what's fun about that is it's an immersive course, so it's a week-long course. For 4 days, 8 to noon, I teach the students, and then on the 5th day they actually do a comprehensive project which consists of putting together an entire marketing campaign for a company of their choosing that sort of needs help. And so what they do is they use the model that I teach them for 4 days, and some of the stuff they come up with, it's amazing. We had a group in Paris last year that did a commercial for Spotify. They filmed it, it was high quality. You would have thought that Spotify commissioned them to do this project. This past year in Paris, I had a group that chose to do the World Wildlife Foundation, and what they realized in their research was that the reason young people don't give to the World Wildlife Foundation isn't because they don't love cute, cuddly animals. They just feel disconnected, because when you're a student living in Paris, you don't see panda bears all the time. You don't see polar bears and the melting ice caps. And so the campaign they came up with to get younger contributors was to do this sort of campaign where the commercial, which they put together as well, was you'd see fish sort of swimming in the sea, and the next thing you'd see was a group of swimmers swimming in a lake. You'd see a mother monkey holding its baby monkey, and then it shifted to a human being holding its infant. So this idea that we're actually not so separate from the animals, super emotional campaign. I'm like watching it, holding back tears in class because it did such a great job.